600,000 people have now died from COVID-19.
The streets of Brazilian cities. It's the second highest death rate world. Bolsonaro's approval rating has dropped to just 22%.
Protesters rocked the streets of several Brazilian cities.
Security forces used tear gas outside the foreign ministry.
Cleared of corruption charges by a Supreme Court judge.
Hola, my name is Maria, and yes, as you can tell from my thick Latina accent, I am from the wonderful country of Brazil. I am here to tell you all the great reasons you should come visit us here. If you look at a map, you will see that Brazil is huge. It is the world's 5th largest country with 8.5 million kilometers squared. It is also the world's tallest country by distance north to south, which means it hosts one of the most diverse landscapes in the world. In the north, we have the mystical Amazonas. In the east, the coast is marked with stunning mountains and beautiful beaches and archipelagos. In the south, you will find great savannas and lovely vineyards. And in the west, we have dry forests and, yet, wetlands with spectacular waterfalls and rivers. But worried about feeling lost in all this? Don't worry. Already 6.5 million tourists a year come to visit Brazil. And not just that, many now call this great country their home, making Brazil one of the most diverse populations in the world, with a population that is 17% Portuguese, 15% Italian, 6% Spanish, 5% German, and a uniquely preserved 4% indigenous population. You might also be surprised to learn that 1.6 million of us are Japanese, making us the second last Japanese population in the world after Japan itself. So, come visit Brazil, because we have something amazing for everyone. Visit Baía de Sancho, voted the world's most beautiful beach 2 years in a row. Or check out the famous Brazilian football scene. After all, we are the only team to win the World Cup 5 times. And of course, if nature is more what you're looking for, Brazil is definitely for you. 60% of the Amazon rainforest is in Brazil, and naturally we have the world's largest number of animal and plant species which live alongside breathtaking sites like the Amazon River, the world's largest river, or the Iguacu waterfall, the world's largest waterfall. Clearly Brazil is numero uno, so we hope to see you soon. Até logo.
Hola, it's me, President Bolsonaro. You might have heard me call Tropical Trump, which is a huge compliment to me. Like the genius man, I believe the Democrats stole the election. And yes, to quote me, myself, I did say COVID was a little virus and ignored the silly doctors. Even today, I stand by my words, which is why the great Brazil has stayed open throughout the pandemic. Yeah, sure, we technically have the world's second highest COVID death, which included the last president, but this is just exaggerating. Counting techniques and everything. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about myself, but the great nation of Brazil. And more importantly, you should invest here. Why? So, while it's not only the most beautiful country, Brazil has the 9th largest economy in the world. Our lands are rich with resources, with an abundance of woods, metal ores, and natural minerals. Because of this, we have developed industries in textiles, shoes, cement, iron, and steel, and even aircraft and motor vehicle parts. Not to mention the world's largest production of coffee for the last 150 years. And don't forget, we have the world's largest population of Roman Catholics, so you can definitely trust us. And if that's not enough, look at the data. The economy of Brazil has seen a 500% increase in the last 50 years alone. So, buy Brazil and invest here.
So class, having seen these videos by these totally 100% Brazilians, do you think Brazil is a good place to do business? Of course, as Asali students, you know the answer. It depends. Although both Maria and Bolsonaro's description of Brazil are accurate, the reality of Brazil is much more complex and troubled than first appears at the surface. And it is these complexities that define the real character of Brazil and its workplace culture. Whilst Bolsonaro is correct that Brazil's GDP has seen an incredible boom over the long term, this started with the end of a series of ruthless military dictatorships, with a democratic constitution only implemented in 1988. The resultant distribution of wealth allowed Brazil to boom like never before. But can we say that it is stable? Unfortunately, even during this boom, Brazil suffered incredible volatility. Even within the first term, The country was subject to the world's biggest corruption scandal of $2.8 billion in bribes between oil companies and senior officials, including the president, who resultantly lost all credibility and popularity. To this day, Brazil has suffered in a series of corruption scandals, political spills, and impeachment processes, leaving it with a severe problem of confidence for investors and partners, which is reflected and worsened by extremely volatile exchange and inflation rates. Meanwhile, the average Brazilian suffers. Although the world's 9th largest economy, Brazil is the 6th most populous, with 211 million people, with a disproportionate amount of the nation's wealth in the hands of the ruling elite and industrial oligarchs. Brazil today has a 14.7% unemployment rate, whilst those employed have a low average income of below $10,000 a year and a very low job satisfaction. On the other hand, the tropical paradise Maria described has proven much more hospitable to birds and animals than a modernizing economy. So then, how do we do business in such a diverse country with so many complexities in the cultural, political, economic, and geographic realms? Let's now look at this video and let's see what we can learn about what's important to consider when negotiating and doing business in Brazil.
Eddie, I need you for a business meeting. Let's go.
Okay. Is my boss strict? I don't think so. I mean, it's pretty normal there. There's a hierarchy, right? So I have to obey whatever he says, and will I do it? Yeah, I don't mind doing it. I mean, I'm getting paid. Of course, not that much, but still, I'm getting paid.
Okay, this is very important for now.
Yeah, that's first supply chain. 15 minutes late already.
Yeah, don't worry.
We need efficiency with our partners.
I know, but it's a Brazilian thing. Don't worry about it.
I'm just not sure how you get 15 minutes, late to your own office. I don't know, if he's working somewhere else, but we start in time in England.
All right, so we have to go over.
Just follow me.
Right?
Izzy,
Hey,
my friend. How did your flight
It
go?
was great. Thanks. Hi. So this is my friend from the London office, James.
Oh, Hannes. Hi, nice to meet you.
I thought we'd start with this.
So how is the family taking?
The family's doing great. Minha esposa says hi to you.
Nice. Thank you so much. Give him my greetings.
Sure will.
So I heard about the. So what James doesn't know is that we do small talk before we do the business. Here in Brazil, we mix the business with the personal life, and it's so normal.
Yes, we tend to save chatting for dinners, but
So if you look here, we have a 5% steady increase in the wool production.
Oh, wool production. Oh, the British countryside. I saw the pictures. They're actually pretty nice. It rains a lot, doesn't it?
Yes, we get quite some rain. So if you look towards the bottom, steady 5% increase over at least the next term or two going into next year.
Oh, I mean, 5 is pretty good, but why not 6?
Hold on, we're coming to that. I think the question's better later, so we're already 30 minutes behind. So
Don't worry about time. It's okay. Izzy, she's amazing. Hamas, that British guy, if I'm asking questions, I'm showing interest. I'm not being rude.
it was a 3-hour meeting and we got about through halfway page of 1. So, but that's totally fine. Totally fine. I think I'll probably be in Brazil for another 6 months for this meeting, but at least this drink seems nice. Don't know what it is there.
Okay, so we're good to go.
One at a time, right?
Absolutely.
we'll need that report by 6, so please.
But I said, no, she's leaving now. It's going to be ready by tomorrow.
I mean, how could even Hamas ask me to work like 12 p.m.? It's a noon time. It's a leisure time. I mean, they are here and they should be aware of these kind of things. Thank God my boss was looking out for me. I mean, there's no way I would want to stay, but...
So let's discuss key takeaways from this video. Although be sure to check the executive summary for all of these points more fleshed out. So, in terms of leadership style, think The Godfather as in the movie. Now, there's a power distance between levels of hierarchy. Authoritarian, charisma-based leadership is highly preferred. This is somewhat linked to its dictatorship past and a strong image of a leader. But, meanwhile, there's also high downward communication, which includes close and personal engagement between boss and subordinates, which can often include physical touching. This perhaps has roots in its more recent Labour government, which also has high support for social policies. In terms of time management, there is quite a low emphasis in punctuality, and high flexibility is valued, which perhaps is linked to its place as a country of high volatility and uncertainty. Also, respect for employee contracts is very important. Brazilian workers have a high preference for low competition workplace with shared responsibilities. So, there is no overtime, and there is a leisure time between 12 and 4 p.m. that simply cannot be avoided. In terms of negotiation style, there is a high emphasis on personal relationship. This is perhaps linked to the fact it's a country of damaged trust, where business partners want to make sure they know the person and trust the person before going further. It is also a country of nepotism and corruption, so either way, it is important to look out for this. They are also quite polychronic. Relationships and business are discussed in tandem. Physical greetings are normal, and expect questions and points that seem off topic. And remember, meetings are both business meetings and business socials.
I think the most remarking thing of Brazilian people is that we are receptive, we tend to be very friendly and outgoing. So it's very easy to get to know people there, and also Brazilians that live abroad as well. I mean, if you need help, you can totally expect help from a Brazilian person. A personal relationship. So for us, it's very important, like people that we work with, especially when we're talking about leaders, it's important that they are our role models and that they have a very good approach to the team. If we don't have very good relationships, if we don't like the people that we work with, we're just not motivated. We are not engaged in what we are doing. We totally connect the personal life with the professional colleagues, You gotta show that you're open, and you gotta show that you're not distant from them. We are often making physical contact. It's very common to handshake, sometimes to give a small hug, and that's important in a negotiation or in a work environment. In a case, being friendly totally helps you in business. Right now, our country is politically divided, so if you ask a different person, this person will probably give you a totally different interpretation. What is holding Brazil's growth is the more basic structure in openness to the market and attracting new multinational companies. I think the main problem that we have here right now, for example, I always like to mention education. Our educational system is very poor. The public educational system needs urgently to receive some investment. The quality of the education is not good. And then when those people are applying for universities, they also come in an imbalanced way. It's coming up with new policies that try to hide that big hole that we have, and that also accounts for security, for public security, accounts for the health service as well. We should invest in these basic structures, infrastructures. 80% of the population still don't have the same opportunities, and those people that have a good education and had more opportunities, they are often leaving the country,
Finally, have a look at this survival guide and the paramount skills for leaders working in Brazil. These short summaries will give you an important insight, because when doing business in such a complex country, at least it pays to get the little things right.